Welcome to ISIS the Bible, the Fall Gathering, week number 7, ISIS's return. The question today is, what do you know about Cur Isis? Yes, I intentionally said crisis, because when a divine feminine rises to rekindle your phoenix, it's a crisis, a sacred awakening. Just as Eris, another name for Isis, is the goddess of discord and strife, so too will we come to realize that we are witnessing this miraculous transformation. Today we journey through the living proof of her return and explore what is unfolding in the heavens that will, without question, become clear to all. The answers to this question was so invigorating because so many people understand what she stands for. And it's pure unconditional love and a cleanse. And so the crisis is really important. And something we learned from Rosemary today is that KRI in crisis, KRI stands for karma. And that's what's happening. She's cleansing our karma. And so it's not an actual living woman because we embody that. It's our own love, internal, highest self, divine feminine self that is cleansing ourself. So glad you could join us today. So Aset shared this really beautiful picture November 11th at 9 p.m. in the sky. So look at this beautiful aurora borealis. And now she said this changed from like a purplish hue to a pink hue right in front of them and really came right down the street and embodied them, which is really cool. Aset is another word for Isis. So I zoomed in at that time and I just checked with her. It was facing the northwest. And so I looked at that time and there is Cassiopeia. You'll see a W in the skies in her picture. If you can look right here, you'll see that. So Cassiopeia is in the sky, which means to let go of the material world. And she's been going through some stuff in her material world and just make sure you embody that divine feminine. That's what the story of Cassiopeia really brings. So thanks for sharing that. So how do we know which luminary is Eris? Well, you get a premonition, like I did. I saw the winged woman in the sky. I pulled out my star app on my iPad, went back outside, and Eris was there. And then twice more when it happened, when Juno, aka Nephthys, aka Mary Magdalene, was there, behind this exact type of shape. A winged woman when you do snow angels in the clouds. So that's how we find out who do we have to follow so we understand who we are and where we're at on the cycle. So this is the divine feminine. She goes by many names in all cultures. So I'm going to go through them so this way you see them. So Pele is the Hawaiian goddess of volcanoes, fire and transformation, creator and destroyer in one breath. Sounds a lot similar, right? Eris, she is the goddess of discord and necessary chaos. The aspect of the divine feminine that initiates transformations by disrupting stagnation. So these are all the same word for Isis. So the Norse had Freya, goddess of love, beauty, and battle, rides with Valkyries. I'm not sure if I say that properly. And then, of course, many have heard of the white buffalo calf woman, bringer of sacred peace pipe and divine law, represents purity and prophecy. In Islamic, the Al-Barak, and there's Justin, Al-Barak is winged steed of light who carries divine revelation, feminine in essence and form. In Vedic Hindu, it's Madurga, invincible mother riding the lion, destroyer of illusion and ignorance. And that's what's happening right now throughout all these countries, aka corporations. That whole illusion that they're really trying to hang on to, including hiding the word ISIS behind a fake group, terrorist group. I mean, that's all just a bunch of BS, right? So yes, when Isis comes back, the crisis happens individually, each person. So each person now is going to start realizing that their self-inflicted karma will come upon them and nobody has to do anything to them. So they have to start to submit. We got Madonna, Christian and Hebrew, the mother of Christ, vessel of immaculate conception, purity and compassionate incarnate. Mictlantecuhtli for the Aztecs, lady of the dead, guardian of the underworld, presiding over renewal and remembrance. Ereshkigal, queen of the underworld. There's a story of Isis in the underworld. She governs descent, death, and transformation. Kali for Hindu. She's the fierce liberator, time itself, consuming the illusion. Wan Yin for the Chinese. Bodhisattva of compassion, hears the cries of the world. Right, that's the story of Isis coming back to save her son. So Isis, the Egyptian, the great mother of magic, throne of divine authority, restores Osiris and births Horus. So it's really beautiful. It's the same in every, same story, same land, same in every culture. The mother who saves her son, us. We're the son. So you will see both Marys, aka Isis and Nephthys, and you'll see the sun, you, all over the Egyptian walls and in the papyruses. So so this is Isis, the one with the throne on her head, and this is Nephthys with the upside down throne, because she's the white witch. This is Glenda, the white witch, and this is, I forget the other one, the black witch's name. So you'll see them at all reincarnation scenes. There's Nephthys, Isis. Okay, there you go, Nephthys, Isis. So again, this is Mary Magdalene and Virgin Mary, right? There you go, another reincarnation scene, Mary Magdalene, Virgin Mary. Same here on the walls, Mary Magdalene, Virgin Mary, and same here, another reincarnation scene of a son, right? And you got both Marys. So that's how you know. So this is how we knew 9 months beforehand that we're going to be going through this cleanse. Eris started bumping up against 0 degree Aries, arise. And then on April 15th, 2023, now a great sign appeared in the heaven, a woman clothed with the sun with the moon at her feet. And this is where we started entering and knowing that she is back. Okay? It's a 558-year cycle. So when you see these alignments, the mother and the son coming back to save her son and arise, and then of course we have when the luminaries are in the sky in the fall equinox at 31 AD, the scene of Jesus dying on the cross. You got both Marys again. There's Mercury, the scribe of all the things, right? And there's the sun, both Marys and the sun. All the scholars of the Bible will tell you that Jesus died at 31 AD. And this is the fall equinox when the sun sets in the west, and there's Spica, the harvest line. That's the weighing of the heart ceremony. And then again, you go back another 558 years, and that same scene is there, both Marys, right? Those are the symbols. Right, so you got the one pointing down to the middle and the one that comes out like sparklers. And this is the one that's at play when we got volcanic eruptions. And so the Indians still have the most accurate calendar since the Egyptians, the Viranavan or Samwat, because they said it was October 527 BCE. In fact, it was September 18th, because they played with the calendar, with the dates, all right? So that scene is everywhere. So when those two ladies are around, stuff's going to happen. And we showed you the spreadsheet before, because the Stations of the Cross is when Mary meets with you, the sun, on each zodiac cusp, all right? And they last for so long. And this, I've got a tracking spreadsheet. So when very major events that they have in his story, you can see that they're on these cusps at this time frame. So those two loving energies are always coming to heal us. And just like the last one of the War of the Roses, which they're saying is somewhere between 1455 to 1485, the War of the Roses. Well, guess who was started coming up against the cusp again, just like when we did in 2020, all right, 6 years ago. So that's another, somebody who was enlightened, was 13 years old, with Leonardo da Vinci back then. So all the kids that are born right now in this Phoenix Rising are going to blow our socks off with how intelligently divine they're going to be and so connected. So when she came, she cleans up house while we're accumulating karma. and still have not learned to wave the white flag. There's no such thing as war. It's just people in karmic battle. So we have to do our best to get people to wave a white flag. Don't let him do that to you. Oh, no, you better ask him for forgiveness. Never mind. We got to understand that it's so important. We got to stop the karmic battle across lifetimes. And thanks for sharing this, Revcat, about the lament. It's very important what's going on. The lament refers to a section near the end of the Hermetic text called the Asclepius, or Perfect Discourse, one of the major works in the Hermetic corpus attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, a composite figure of the Egyptian Thoth and the Greek Hermes. It's a prophetic philosophical dialogue that mourns the fall of Egypt, the loss of sacred wisdom, and the eventual restoration by divine intervention. Isis is back. So in that book, if you pull it up, you'll do you not know, Asclepius, that Egypt is an image of heaven? Right, so that's us. We're an image of the stars. It is fitting that wise men should have knowledge of all events before they come to pass. You must not be left in ignorance of this. For the gods will return from earth to heaven. In other words, the fall from Aries into Pisces, we leave Egypt, we leave our enlightenment. But when the age is cleansed of its corruption, the divine shall return and the world shall be remade in the image of its first wisdom. So it's a cycle of us coming in and out. So in layman's term, I'm going to read it again. It says, do you not know, Asclepius, that Kemek is a reflection of heavens above? Yet the time comes when this harmony will break, and what is divine shall recede. We fell into the Piscean age. Two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl. The wise know the signs. They read the stars and understand the turning of the ages. And when the fire of Aries gives way to the illusion of Pisces, then we will forget that we are gods and we created all. They will return to enlightenment, aka heaven, for the earth, aka materialism, will no longer be their temple, which is very fitting with what's going on right now, and including the beautiful experience that Aset had with Cassiopeia. In other words, switch from vanity over to enlightenment and love. So I won't go through this in great detail, but it's important that we mention these dates because it's important. So we will get into detail in the future gatherings because these are some amazing alignments. If your waters are pure, these will invigorate you. If not, they will cleanse you. Know that these are aligning with the lament text that we as Egypt, enlightenment returns. So November 11th, Jupiter went retrograde, and today Mercury aligns Mars. And I know people are talking about that we're having solar flares. Well, yeah, this is number 2 of 3 that Mercury is aligning Mars. So now it's in retrograde, hitting Mars, and it will come back again on January 18th. And I'll show you the amazing alignment that's coming up on that day. Okay, so then at the 18th, Mars moves to Antares, so there's double fire. All right, that's Scorpio. Remember, I talked about that last time we were together. And November 22nd is the peak Samhain. I got a slide on this. Ceres goes direct on exactly that day. And who's Ceres? Ceres is a harvester of relationships. So a lot of things to do with relationships. Whether you leave the visible or it's just relationships, gaining relationships, beautiful new relationships, that's all Ceres. And this ISO 2022 that gets implemented on November 22nd. So yes, divine people are being guided, whether they think they're doing the right thing or not. It's going in the right direction. So November 28th, Saturn goes direct. December 11th, Neptune goes direct. December 6th, Jupiter is on the cusp. So at the bottom of the chart, Jupiter is right aligned with the divine domain of Horus. This is nativity scene. This is midnight in the sky. And Jupiter is law. And there's a lot going on with law right now because the keepers of the gates, the judges, are now going to be tested because they have to stop delivering people's karma. They have to be people that have compassion and give them therapy, not judgment. It's not their job to do that. But people have to have a heart as light as a feather if they walk into a courtroom. So December 6th, that's going to be 2 of 3, and then June the 2nd. So a lot of law things are happening, folks. A lot. January 2nd, Chiron the Wounded Healer turns direct. So a lot of them are going direct. January 12th, Eris is out of retrograde. So Remember, Eris does almost, which is Isis. Remember, Eris is Isis. So Isis moves approximately 6 months forward. In other words, direct, and she was retrograde. Now she's coming back and going direct on January 12th. So if you take the 10 days out of the calendar, you'll know that's January 1st. And that's why we light off fireworks in celebration of her. And look what's going on in the Milky Way on that day. Look at all those alignments. Again, when we get closer, I'll get into more detail. There's so much going on. But this January 12th is very related to the January 12th of 2020, when that whole alignment was, the weighing of the heart ceremony was on the sky. Because this completes the 6-year orb of her and her transformation. So we see a lot of things happening in 2026. And a lot of people are saying that, which is beautiful. March 20th, Black Moon aligns Antares. March 29th, this is really cool. This Annapurna is really exciting because we're Vesta of the Vestal Virgins. And I know there was a lot of Vestal Virgins happening when Rosemary spoke at Unity. If you haven't seen her video yet online, you can go to Unity Windsor and go check out her video, because she gave a great presentation and talked about her healing. And Vesta was so aligned in her chart. And Vesta is another, when you're high in Vesta, it means a nun or a convent. And where did that happen? Mary Vale was an old convent. So Vesta may be brightly dressed with new leaves. Also, it said a new fire is lit at her secret shrine, and rekindled flames acquired new strength. And to me, it's no less a sign that past years began, so that in the month worship Annapurna begins. So this is really beautiful because, and we'll talk about that, so I'll just leave it at B for now, but this Annapurna is really important because Annapurna means when Vesta now hops over, this is what Annapurna means. Everything is on one side of the chart, exactly when the sun meets with Eris, on April 15th, 2026. Sorry, that's an error. I'll have to fix that. That's an error. So when in 2026, see, April 15th, 2026, Mary Magdalene aligns with Osiris, Pluto. Everything is on one side of the head and the tail of the reincarnation nodes. Everything is on one side when the mother meets with the sun, and we go into this Annapurna. And this is something that's talked about in the Ovid Fasti 3. This event, the celebrations of the Ides of March. This is the alignment of Ides of March, folks. Coming up between March 29th and April 15th. It's the Ides of March. So I wanted to share that with you. For April 2nd, Lilith aligns Mary at a cusp. So this is Lilith. Lilith does implosions. Lilith is Sekhmet. Lilith is the cat. Lilith is Medusa. Okay? On that day, this image on the Egyptian walls aligns because you can see that Isis is the throne. You can see that this is the cobras of Lilith or Medusa. And this is Vesta because Vesta, the Immaculate Conception, is Vesta. So this embodiment shows the sun as well. So all this is going on with Vesta being at the Annapurna. You got both of these, Lilith with Isis aligned and the sun coming up. Remember, this is high energy, implosion type energy. So as we get closer there, we may see a lot of things go out, because this scene that you see here is all about electricity and free energy and the energy that comes. On the one that's on the walls, you'll see a little sign of energy in that ball there. So there's going to be some really amazing energies. May 2nd, Uranus aligns Alcyone for the 3rd time. And then June 2nd, Jupiter is that 3rd time on the cusp. So we're going to talk about these dates, but they're important to follow because we're going to see things. So just to show you what Lilith does, that northeast blackout that we had over here, guess who was at play? The moon and north and south. Those are reincarnation nodes. That puts you out. It eclipses. So that power got eclipsed on that day. And the moon was in alignment with Lilith. And how long did that last? So it went out on, Thursday, August the 14th, and it came back on around the 16th. So New York regaining power by 9:30 p.m. on Friday, August 15th. And you can see Friday, August 15th, Lilith was square Spica exact at that time. So exactly at the time outage, you can see that the alignments in that area were happening and they were at play. So the part of fortune, Vesta on Spica, the harvest line, and Lilith on a cusp. Okay, implosion type thing. So we're following the implosions. Kathy did have an implosion that she's seen. I got to witness it, but not directly. And it was directly aligned with her Lilith so that we can get this guidance that Lilith, yes, she does implosions, high energy. Just quickly, if you believe the stars guide us and we are one connected consciousness, we know 100% that the Vatican astrologers know that this Jubilee is upon us. The Vatican announced in May of this year that 2025 will be a Jubilee year, all debts forgiven. But you can only do that with forgiveness and achieve the infinite love from the Mare, or Mary, the Sea of Love, Isis. So I changed a couple of their dates because they got a couple mixed up. So it wasn't December 24th, it was April 15th, 2023. And then it ends on, they got January 2026. But Eris goes, they're probably looking at Eris, Isis going direct in January, but we know that the major alignments aren't coming till further on in that year. But either way, the Vatican is aware. So just to show you that we have shown these energies in the past, like November 4th alignment we discussed. So this we discussed a couple of weeks ago, this major energy alignment that we have at play. It's not surprising that we'll see signs in the heaven coming up on that day. And of course we did, right? On November 4th, 2025, a UPS Airlines flight 2976, a McDonnell Douglas MD-11 cargo aircraft crashed just after takeoff from Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport in Kentucky, killing at least 14 people. I don't like using the killing because they left the visible and they're going to return, including 3 crew members on board and several civilians on the ground. When you look at these energies, which I won't go into detail, they're all there. This exact alignment happened at that location, exactly at that time. Who's there? Juno. Juno makes explosions. Juno's a fire, right? And she's right aligned on Antares and Aldebaran, the 2 royal stars. The moon was rising exactly at that point. The Imam Coeli was at Castor, the mortal ones. There's Venus aligned with the part of fortune close to Spica, the harvest line. And there's the sun, right, on the Southern Cross, like we spoke about. So people leave the visible on that energetic day. It's in the stars. So investigations show the aircraft's left engine detached during climb, igniting a fire and causing the plane to roll uncontrollably into an industrial area near the airport. So if you know anybody, we're sending love to everyone involved because we need to understand. So if you know anyone of any of the direct family, please let them know that they are infinite. They will return and leave all kinds of signs until then, because it is the wisdom that we're able to now understand. And here's a beautiful one on Peggy's going to love this one. So ISO 20022 as a structural mirror of Jubilee. So just a quick mention about the synchronistic signs that is aligning on Earth as it is in the heavens, because we talked about that. Because this is coming into play on November 22nd, which is the real Samhain. It's also on the Egyptian walls. All Souls, Halloween, Dia de los Muertos. Well, banking is showing it's going to die a quick death. So there's a new ISO 20022 standard that will expose all transaction details on how many people are taking a cut. This will stop all backroom deals when people think it's okay to have more than others. Please forgive me for ever teaching them how to do this. ISO 20022 as a structural mirror of Jubilee at first glance seems purely technical, just as a new language for payments, but symbolically it is a necessary stepping stone for transparency, lifting the veils that hid ownership, intent, and flow. So here's how it aligns with the Jubilee. Clarity and equity in exchange. It standardizes data across all nations, removes Babylonian confusion of coded formats. So all those different things that you see, Swift codes, this code, that code, they're all going away, and it's one standard, and you'll be able to see who's taking a cut. Because Isis is back. She's saying, hey, you kids, no, you don't get to have all the apples. You got to share with your brothers and sisters. This is really what's happening, and we got to look at it in that light, like little kids. I don't want to give, I want to have it all, right? So accountability of stewards. Each message now contains full identification, sender, receiver, purpose, exposing fraud and shadow accounting. Return to rightful owners enables tracking of value flows to real beneficiaries, making hidden intermediaries visible. So this is getting ready for our estate redemption. It really is. It's in line with it because everybody's going to get access to their shares. Release of debt bondage. Enables precise settlement between systems, potentially paving way for debt reconciliation and fair clearing. So this is happening in the sky. This gets into play on November 22nd, to which we've been talking about for the last 2 years. And guess who's going direct on that exact day? Ceres, the harvester. She's making new relationships with everybody everywhere around the world. You know who's fighting this? Those that are thinking that it's one world order. Yes, it is. It's called ISIS world order. So we got to stop fighting the UN and all this crap because everybody's trying to say UN's better. No. You have to really see what's happening because ISIS is leading the lemmings off the cliff. They're setting all this up for exposure. So we got to see the light that's in this because people want to stay their separate country. Sure they do because they want to keep their money. They want to keep separated. They don't want immigration. They don't want. But we want unity, and so does ISIS. And that's happening, folks, whether we like it or not. So here's a very symbolic video, a little quick clip on how things are going to happen, how these two Marys are going to shake things up. I added these two Marys to this little clip, right? We will go through an alchemical cleanse to align in unity and equity. It's happening, folks. Even the last stubborn one had to let go, right? That's the prodigal sons and daughters, okay? We have to align. That's what these two women are doing. Mary and Mary Magdalene, Isis and Nephthys. We will all have the same beat to that one drum, one plate, one spoon. The whole world unites. And of course, physics and astronomy, right? Isn't that beautiful? So we all have to wave the white flags, but it has to have a black dot in the middle. Why? Because that black dot is in every atom, just like shown in a magnet. Every atom in your body has a black hole, and that's love. That's the ether. That's where Isis comes out of the underworld to save her son. So the sun will be this illumination where the black is the light that you can't see. So if you wave a flag, put a black dot in it because that metaphysically shows you know and you have wisdom that we're all connected and we're never apart ever. It's just that we grow a little bit weary when we fall out of Egypt, i.e. the Aryan age, to the Piscean age, and we lose our way a little bit. But it's okay, we're now back. We get pulled in because we were at the max throw of the magnet and now we're being pulled in. So last slide. So if we can just take this invocation into a melite, because meditation means clear your mind. No, meditation, the pure definition of meditation means you're doing it wrong. That's what meditation means. You're doing it wrong. You got to do melite. Melite means you got to focus your intention on something, and that comes to you when it's done with love. So if you guys want to, you can keep your eyes open, whatever, but just concentrate on the message. So this is an invocation for the new dawn. Beloved Isis, mother of love, the ether, you who breathe life into every field and heart, let your current of love rise now through all the lands. May every circuit, every river, every soul remember that we are one body, the breath of the all moving in harmony. Where the game of Monopoly has divided, let's share in return. Where bravery takes down the walls we built, let gentleness and laughter open gates. May the banners of peace unfold from every home and hill, white as the dove, radiant as the morning star. Let the divine feminine awaken within all, balancing justice with mercy, truth with tenderness, power with compassion. It is time for the world to change, and I envision it every chance I get. It's time to wave the white flags and share the lands everywhere and close the monopoly game. Isis, the divine feminine, says so. And may every heart hear the whisper, love is the law, love is the way, love is the home. So let it be in light, in balance, in one love. Thank you. I love you all, and that's all we have for today.